What's good, YouTube? First things first, please like and share the video and subscribe to my channel. Now, as y'all can see from the title, yes, a crazy gangbanging father tried to fight me. Mind you, I was only 11 years old at the time. Like, can you really imagine that? Like, being a kid and having a grown ass man, a gangbanger, try to fight you? Like, that was something that I would never ever forget in my life. You know, the story goes all the way back to when I was in the sixth grade. Now, I don't know about y'all, but my mother never used to like me taking a city bus, so she put me on a school bus. The school bus will pick me and the kids up in the morning and pick us up after school. Now, there was a certain spot by my house where the kids in my neighborhood who went to my school had to meet up at in the morning in order for the school bus to pick us up. At that spot, it was like around 8 kids. And I remember there was this one girl. I'm not gonna give out her real name, but her fake name is gonna be Brianna. I I ended up really liking Brianna. That was like my middle school crush at the time, and I remember like later on, me and her became really good friends. Right now, this is when the story starts to get crazy because in elementary school how you have these yearbook photos and you have those those yearbooks in elementary school, right? I had this one friend. I'm not gonna give out her real name, so her fake name is gonna be Sammy. Sammy was in Brianna's class, and Sammy was showing um Brianna all these embarrassing yearbook photos of me back at elementary school. So fast forward that day, I went on the school bus and I saw Brianna, and Brianna was just telling me about all the embarrassing pictures of me in elementary school. And I didn't really feel bad about it, but I was just laughing about the situation, right? So while she was telling me about these, all the pictures that she saw of me and her was laughing. And then you know how you play around with your friend and you just flicked like what I did was I flicked her hair. I didn't push her. I didn't punch her. I didn't do anything. I flicked her hair out of nowhere. The girl gets up and starts rushing at me like, "Yo, who the fuck you touching to? Who the fuck you like? Don't touch me, da da da." The girls just start going crazy, and I'm like, "Yo, what is your problem?" Like she started rushing me, try to put her hands on me. She tried to slap me. She tried to fight me, and I'm gonna be honest with you. That bus driver had to be one of the worst bus drivers because that nigga did not help me, bro. Fast forward, right? The bus driver um drops us off at the spot for the kids to go home at. And then I'm trying to talk to Brianna, like, "Hey, what's your problem? Like, why are you trying to fight me?" And Brianna was like, "Yo, I'm not talking to you no more. I'm calling my father." And I'm like, "Yo, go ahead, call your father. Your father not gonna do nothing." I wish I should never told her that. I wish I should have never said that. Right? So the next day, while I'm walking to the spot for the school bus to pick us up, normally when we normally at the spot it was like around 8 kids, but this time it looked like it was mad people, and all I saw was just this big thug looking ass nigga, and then I was like, that must be her father. I'm not fucking with that. You feel me? I was not fucking with that at the age of 11. At the age of 11, I wasn't dumb, my nigga. I was kind of smart, you know. Yo, I literally looked at that shit and I went to take the city bus. I took the city bus to go all the way to school, and then while I'm in school, I happened to bump into Brianna, and Brianna was just cursing me out like, "Yo, why was you at the school bus? You a pussy, you a bitch. Watch, you gonna get what's yours. You gonna get what's coming to you. Yeah, you was talking all that shit yesterday." I'm like, "What?" I'm like, I'm not even paying her no mind because I don't want no problems. Fast forward that day, school ended, and I was on the school bus, and I happened, and like, Brianna was not there. Like I thought Brianna was gonna be there to cause trouble and shit like that. Brianna was not there, and I'm like, "Oh my god, thank God!" Right? The school bus drops me and the kids off at the spot, and while I'm walking to my building, all I see is this dog looking ass nigga, right? And then while I'm walking, I'm looking at him. He looking at me, and he just approaches me, comes up to me, just like looking like he's about to fight me, right? He started talking to me like, "Yo, I don't know." He's like, "Yo, I don't know who you are, but the next time you ever touch my daughter or even look at my daughter, I'm killing you and your family. You better watch your back." and he was about to he was about to punch me in my face. And then his friend out of nowhere started holding him back against me. I'm not even gonna lie, bro. When this was happening, I was scared for my life. I was scared for my life. Cause this was like the first time a grown man was talking to me like that, you know? So like his friend had to hold him back from, beating my ass up, right? And then and then the father was like, "Yo, you lucky my friend is here, or else you would have got it," right? So him and his friend walked away, and I'm not gonna lie, like I'm damn near almost crying at this point. Like I'm that ass so scared. And while I'm walking home, like while I go to my house, right? My mother looking at me like I just saw a ghost. Like my mother's asking me all these questions, like, "Yo, what's wrong? Why you look like that? Like, why you acting so shady?" And then my mother, my mother, like she, like sat me down, was trying to talk to me, like, "Yo, what's going on?" And I told my mother what just happened to me, and then my mother got so mad. My mother got so mad. My mother was like, "What? You have a grown ass man talking to you like that?" It's like, "I bet. Tomorrow we gonna talk to this girl Brianna, and we gonna settle this once and for all, right?" Yo, I was so scared because I didn't like the way how the father was talking to me. I didn't want nothing happening to my mother, or like my mother or my family. So the next day came, right in the morning. Me and my mother and my sisters going to the bus stop, and Brianna was there. My mother and my sister was talking to Brianna like, "Yo, I don't want no problems with you and your family. Just make sure you don't talk to my son, and we don't have like just make sure you don't talk to my son, or you don't even look at my son. Just make sure we don't have no problems here, all right?" And Brianna was like, "Okay, okay, okay. Just make sure your son never talks to me." And everything was cool. As soon as my mother and my sister left, Brianna came to my face and was like, "Yo, I never ever want to see you again in my life. I never even want to talk to you. Just don't talk to me ever again." And I was like, "All right." At the time, I didn't care no more because the problem was already solved. But moral of the story: keep your hands to yourself. Not everybody is your friend. Like like I'm so glad that happened to me in my life because it taught me a huge valuable lesson to just always keep your hands to yourself, you know? But anyways, that's the end of the story.